Congressman Keating, thanks for taking a few minutes to talk with us. Let me go right into the questions. You've been on an extended caucus call with fellow House Democrats this afternoon. What's going to happen next?
Well, thank you for having me, Ted. This is a continuation of last week. It's unprecedented, the length of this call, and I suspect it's going to go ongoing. We're having another call scheduled at 6. It's really across all lines. I won't repeat the personal side of it other than to say the stories of the individuals, and Congresspeople are individuals, the human stories, the trauma, how they were affected, what happened in their particular, experience. That's been part of it. Suggestions have been part of it. Demand to know answers in terms of security have been part of it.
It sounds like, not to interrupt you, but it sounds like some of your colleagues are very shaken by what they experienced.
I think, yes, I think that's very clear. I think our country should be as well. I think that that's part of it. So also just a timetable, which is public by now, as you're aware, of taking up the impeachment resolution on Wednesday, dealing with an effort to extend the 25th Amendment with legislation and an avenue to have the vice president take action if he so desires. It doesn't look likely on Tuesday. So that's what we're facing. But the meeting is across the board, and far-reaching.
So, I suspect you will vote for impeachment, knowing how you felt about what happened last week and your voting record. But the pushback that's coming from some quarters. He's only in office a few more days. This will only raise the temperature even further in what's a very hot situation. What do you say as you hear those things?
In all my experience, I'll never have a more clear-cut vote than to vote yes. So it's not related to my past voting. You look at this situation as a unique one. Fortunately, it's unprecedented. So this is a clear-cut obligation to move forward. This can be viewed many ways. And during the last 4 years in particular, but Congress, historically, we have differences on issues. This time, whether you favor the wall, don't favor the wall, immigration issues, you can go tax issues, you can go across the board. That's not what this is about. This is about an incitement and an organization of an attack on our government, attack on Washington. If I have a second, Ted, I just want to put it in perspective. The president lost the election. Put this in the context of our viewing another Western democracy or a third world country. The president lost an election. He legitimately and legally went forward with the legal challenges. He lost, he's 0 for 60 because largely there's no evidence of that, including judges appointed by him. He failed. Then he attacked those judges all the way up to the Supreme Court. Next, he tried to pressure governors and state leaders to convene legislatures to overturn their certified votes. In Georgia, for instance, there were 3 recounts, all accurate. That failed. Then he tried to push and coerce legislators from other states, Pennsylvania in particular, to go in and, regardless of what the certified votes are, just turn their backs on those electors and vote for him. That failed. Fortunately, all these things failed. And all of them were geared at Republicans, either governors, legislators, judges that were appointed by governors. All those failed. Now, at the same time, it was the president that started the January 6th effort, seizing on the physical transfer of power with these certified votes, paper votes, in mahogany boxes to the vice president ratifying those votes. A ceremonial thing, but substantive. We are not only Congresspeople, human beings, we're also instruments of government. So what he did is he organized that January 6th effort. We all heard him. It was all public, telling people it'd be wild, come to Washington, don't let it happen. And this happened over a period of weeks. Then he had a rally starting out timed for that day, not the weekend where a rally would typically be put, that very day, at the very hour where the people could march up and attack the Capitol. And he did that. And while the Capitol was being attacked, the perimeters violated, Capitol police officer murdered, 4 other people losing their lives, all the injuries. The president was on the phone at that hour contacting senators on the floor to say, now don't let that transfer occur. Stop it. It's a direct attack at the transfer of power, so fundamental to our democracy, and it's unprecedented. So don't just view this as a rally, or this wasn't. This was orchestrated and incited by actions of the president, among others, to actually physically interrupt and stop that transfer of power that's necessary to have occurred before a president-elect can take his oath of office. Incredible. And listen to those phone conversations as they've been transmitted by people like Senator Sass, who got the phone call by mistake, directed at another senator. And he would tell you that what was said on the phone was, don't let it go through. Stop it from happening. So this is what happened. Look at it in that lens. Think about what would happen with another country, and think how we would view it. Nothing short of a coup. And that's what was happening. Sure, there might have been people there that thought they were going to partake in a protest or a rally. That's not what actually occurred in the capital of the United States.
One last question, because I know you have to get back to the call, Congressman Keating. Do you think, I saw some reports today, there are at least a handful of Republicans in the House who are actually considering voting for impeachment themselves. Do you think you and the Democratic caucus might win any Republican votes for this?
Who knows? I'll tell you this, they all should. What else would you do faced with this? As I just described to you, this was an attack, a physical, planned attack on our government to deliberately and physically stop the transfer of power from occurring. The thing to remember for people, and a reassuring note, is this. We were all resolute that we weren't going to leave that building until we performed that duty, and we did. And to those Republican officials who weren't coerced or threatened in state government that held to the Constitution, they should be reassured with that. But what if someone like a Michael Flynn was in charge of the military? Michael Flynn being, the recently pardoned Michael Flynn, who's taken an oath to the QAnon conspiracy theories. What if he was in that position? Fortunately, this time we had people that were a country ahead of any kind of partisan concern holding that wall. And the same should be said of my Republican colleagues as we take this vote. This shouldn't be a political vote. It's not, in my view, a political vote. It's fundamental to our responsibilities and obligations, and to vote otherwise would be violating that oath of office that we all took just a few days ago.
Congressman Keating, thanks for taking the time to talk with us on a busy day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.